Hello everyone, happy February. Whew, I'm just getting used to writing the year 2024. It's pretty wild, but this month is all about love. And if you are not in love, I hope you do love someone or something. I myself happen to love roller skating, and that's what we're going to talk about today. If you would like a membership to hundreds of videos, drills, skills, choreography. You also have access to the Fiore wellness stuff, so workouts, mindfulness. All of it is available on thatnicolefiore.com or on my YouTube channel. Please check it out, as well as the Foundations course. The Foundations course is made for everyone, whether you are just starting out on skates or if you have been skating for your entire life. There is everything in there, everything that I think everyone should know on skates, starting from tying your skates. So let's get into what we are working on this month. This month we have brand new choreography. Round of applause to Love Potion number 9. Now this song is an older song and it sneaks up on you. It's pretty fast, and there are a lot of different skills that we are going to be working on throughout the choreography. So before we get into there, let's talk about week 1. For week 1, we are going to be working on drills 3 and the 0. Now drills 3 works on our inner edge strength. There will be some rolling, so I do recommend doing this one on skates, but we will be focusing in on making sure our knees are in line with our toes in order to do a pure edge. We won't be using a lot of space. All of this is done with minimal space, and you really will be focusing in toward the inside of your skate, the inner edge. We don't use our inner edges as often as our outer edges, but they are very, very important, and we'll be using them a lot in some different skills that we will be working on throughout the month. So I want to make sure we really do drill our inner edges. Now the 0 is a really fun skill that is very beginner friendly. You don't need a ton of space in order to do it, but we will be rolling backward, side to side. There is quite a bit of skill that has to go into this in order to know when to stop yourself, how to stop yourself after rolling, and how to gain that momentum to get some roll. So it is beginner friendly, it is a great skill for everyone, and it is really, really fun to do. For our practice this week, we will be doing backward skating, heel-toe manuals, and sidewalk skating. So backward skating, like I said, in that 0, it's kind of an introduction to backward skating. Backward skating does not need to be scary, I promise you. Also, if you're wearing toe stops or any sort of toe plug at the front of your skate, backward skating is pretty simple to save yourself on. So if you're a little uncomfortable, just know that you have that toe stop right there if you need it. It's a really nice safety net. So backward skating, when you are doing this, remember, I do want you to stick your booty out a little bit, not very far, but a little bit, because we need some balance in the back as well as balance in the front, and putting your arms out side to side will help you with that side to side balance. So we need all of our bases covered here. Backward skating does not need to be scary. I promise you, you can do this. Now, heel-toe manuals. Heel-toe manual is holding one foot on the heel, one foot on the toe. And you can do that standing still, you can do it rolling. It will also guide you into your heel-toe spin and so many other skills. So the heel-toe manual is very important to learn and very important to be able to hold. Not necessarily for a super, super long time, but if you can find that balance point, you don't have to go too far to the heel and you don't have to go too far to the toe. Play with it, hold on to something if you need some extra support, and try to hold it longer and longer each time you do it. Now, sidewalk skating. This one is a really interesting one. I know a lot of us do skate outside, and when we're skating outside, we need to have our feet staggered. We do not necessarily want our feet close together and side to side. We need them staggered just in case we hit one of those pesky pebbles or any sort of debris. So sidewalk skating, it's super important to learn how to maneuver your weight in order to go over cracks and debris. So check that out this week as well. Now, of course, if you don't live anywhere where you can skate outside currently, maybe the weather is bad, please do this inside. You can still learn the techniques. I teach everything in this room that I'm standing in right now, and it is quite small. So I do want you to be open to learning the techniques and practicing them, even if you can't take them outside yet. All right, on to week 2. In week 2, we are doing our beginner intermediate choreography to Love Potion number 9. Now, like I said, there are a lot of different skills in this, and we have skills videos for each skill within the choreography. So I put this on 1 week, but you can use this the entire month. I always put the beginner intermediate choreography on week 2 of the month and the advanced choreography on week 4. But I do encourage you to do both and try both out. This choreography does go back to back, so it's one complete routine when you learn the whole thing. The advanced has more advanced skills, and the beginner intermediate has a lot of different skills, but those are beginner-friendly skills. So let's talk through what we have, and this will also go into our practice. In our choreography, we have a pivot, we have the 0, we have the moonwalk, and we have a 2-foot spin as well as an optional dip. That's a lot of things within a little over 4 counts. I do believe the beginner intermediate this month is actually 5 8 counts. If you are not a fan of counting music, that's okay. We will talk through it. So for our practice this week, I do want you to practice a few of those skills. I want you to practice toe pivots, the moonwalk, and dips. Now, toe pivots, even if you're not wearing a toe stop, you can do this. I just personally do this on a toe stop, but it is really important, on a toe stop or not, to align your knee with your toe and understand how to turn. Now, this is not like a spin, so you don't necessarily need to worry about getting dizzy. It's more about planting one foot and doing the other foot on an edge, an inner edge. So back to our drills that we worked on in the first week, this all comes together. So the pivot is a very fun skill. I use it all the time within choreography and within general skating. If I want to stop, maybe I don't want to do a traditional stop, I will go into a pivot. I can also use this to go from forward to backward. So there's a lot of different uses for the pivot, but it is also in our choreography. Now the moonwalk, an amazing thing about the moonwalk, if you don't travel with it, say you don't have enough space or maybe you just didn't get enough speed, it turns into a dribble. So it's really one skill or another. So if you want to check out the dribble as well, there is a dribble/slingshot skills video as well. Now dips. Dips are very, very good practice for our backward outer edges. They are fun. You will see people do them at the rink and do it with like a body roll, and it's a really fun move, but it's also really, really great practice. It's kind of that sneaky hidden practice that I love because we can have fun doing it. So the dip, if you do it backward, it is a really good way to practice those outer back edges. Make sure the foot that is doing the edge, the foot that you have most of your weight in, that you are really pressing to the outside of that skate. Rotating the body helps you because it allows you to stabilize a little more to the side. So have fun with that this week and think about those edges. Okay, on to week 3. We will be doing drills 5 as well as our heel toe spin. Drills 5 is on free leg control and core strength. So free leg control, obviously on skates, is very important. Your free leg is the leg that is lifted up in the air, whether you're stretching it in back, to the side, and front. That is your free leg. It is the one that is free to do what you need to do. So that free leg is not just flying around, lifting up, moving on its own. We need to learn how to control it, because once we lose control of that, we lose control of everything else. So we will be working on that control. And when we skate, we are using our core to stabilize at all times. So we really have to build up that strength, that control, and that strength together. Great combination. Now the heel toe spin is simply a 2-foot spin, popping to the heel and the toe. When you do a 2-foot spin, you can't necessarily go around a ton of times on the edges. You gain speed at the very beginning. Whatever you gain at that beginning is pretty much what you have unless you want to pump the spin. What you can do to get more rotations is go to the heel and toe. So since we've already done the heel toe manual, it is that positioning, that control, not going too far to the toe, not going too far to the heel, understanding where that balance point is and where it needs to be for you, and then adding rotation to it. So really make sure you are controlling your spin when you are doing it. You're not getting too dizzy. You actually have control over how much you are rotating, keeping everything in line the entire time. We will get into that in the skills video, but I just want to remind you to keep that core tight and rotate everything at the exact same time. It's a full body sport, roller skating. You got to move everything together. Everything has to work together in order to succeed. Okay, for our practice in week 3, we have a few things. One, we are going to revisit, which is that heel toe manual. I want you to keep progressing with that, getting longer and longer, being able to hold it, and thinking about those balance points within your spin. But we will also be working on the C step and our backward cross pulls. Now the C step is, unlike the dips, this is on our inner back edges. So our dips worked on our outer back edges, and the C step works on our inner back edges. Even if you're not super comfortable skating backward, these are great skills for you to work on because you don't need a lot of speed. You can do these moves stationary, especially the C step. Dips are a little hard to do stationary, but the C step you can especially do stationary. You don't need a lot of speed, and transferring weight from one foot to the other to continue going is a very, very important skill to have. Now, backward cross pulls, this works both your outer and your inner back edges. And backward cross pulls, I believe, to be easier than forward cross pulls. So backward cross pulls are a few different steps together. You have to plant, you have to form your base, you have to cross one foot over, get onto a new edge, and then reset your foot. So it's like 1, 2, balance, 1, 2. There's a lot of things to think about in your backward cross pulls, but the number one thing is to make sure your core is stabilizing you. So when we rotate it all, we're tightening up that core, using that as our center core in order to do whatever else we want to do on skates. Once you have that, you can pretty much do whatever you want on your feet and your arms. Pretty much your core strength and your edges, once you have those, you're good to go. And on to week 4, we have our advanced choreography. Now, like I said, the skills in this are advanced. So if you're not quite ready for it, it's okay. I do want you to build up to it. Choreography is great for practicing because we can trick our body into enjoying these movements. It's to a beat, it's to a song. You can always change the song as well. You can learn the choreography, do it to something completely different if you're not a fan of the song, or if you need a song that's a bit slower, it's a great idea to slow it down. You can also do it off skates. So the advanced choreography uses a lot of different skills. Let me think. We start with a spin, and then we go into quick pivots, small but quick pivots, which is really good. A nice challenge from going to one foot to the other and making sure you put a foot down, switching, making sure you put a foot down. And then we have a fun challenge within our advanced choreography. I think it's fun. We're gonna do a 3-turn into either an inner back loop or a 1-foot spin, and then followed by a dip to get out of it. There's a lot going on in the advanced choreography, but I promise, no matter what level you are, check it out and slow it down. Figure out what you can do right now and then film it, because I promise you, if you keep going, keep practicing, in a year or 2, you will be able to do it and you will be so shocked. That is one of my favorite things when skaters that I've worked with now for a few years, they tried a choreography when they first started and then they revisit it 2 years later, 3 years later, and they are shocked by what they can do compared to back then. A lot of times we don't even notice it. We don't notice how much we're progressing, and then filming ourselves and comparing it a few years apart is unreal. So for our practice, we are going to work on some rotations. I want you to go back to that heel toe spin. This time I want you to focus on your arms. Instead of just bringing your arms in, leaving them out, there are so many different options when you're spinning. I want you to lift your arms up above your head. Just remember when you are doing this, again, back to that core, that has to be tight in order to stabilize our arms, lifting them directly above our head. A lot of times I find that people go a little too far in front, a little too far in back, and then that moves our hips along with it. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure our hips are directly under us, our core is nice and tight, and our arms are directly above our head. Then I want you to go on to our options that are within our advanced choreography, the inner back loop and the 1 foot spin. Both of these skills use the same edge and they use a lot of the same skills within it. So the inner back loop, you can do the full inner back loop, bringing your free leg out, in and out, creating a loop on the floor. If you were like literally drawing, it would be a loop. Or you can do the 1 foot spin, which is the same general rule. You bring your foot to tabletop if you want to really focus in on it. We call it a 1 foot spin, but it's an inner back upright. That's the technical term for it. And it's on that inner back edge. So you can bring your free leg to tabletop. You can do a bunch of different body positions, free leg positions, but that's the general one. And you can leave it there for as many rotations as you can do, and then put that foot down and exit your turn. I have us in the choreography do a dip out of it because that is pretty much the way you would come out of the spin, just now doing a little extra move. So I want you to practice all of those. Again, no matter what level you are, break it down, focus on your edges, focus on your technique. I know that that can get a little bit boring, but try these skills. Even if they seem a little bit too difficult for you right now, I promise you that there are things within it that you can tackle and things you can focus on. For those of you who are super advanced skaters, same thing. Even if the move is something that you know, I want you to really break it down and start focusing on different things, the edges, your core, adding different body movements, adding different free leg movements. There is so much room to grow on skates no matter what level you are. So again, these memberships, all of this is within the memberships, and you get access to the podcast early. You get access to the wellness, the mindfulness, all of that, as well as all of the skating. It is so much stuff. And I lay it out every month. There's an area that on the blog that has the different videos and has links to each one. And then if you are a site member, you have a tab that says this month, and it's a playlist of everything for that month. So it's all laid out for you, and there are so many different skills to check out. All of those skills that I named, I believe it's like 7 in the beginner intermediate and 5 in the advanced. All of those have their own separate videos for skills videos. So I really hope you check it out. Please let me know if you need any extra help. Private lessons are available online and in person, and I am doing in-person workshops every month. So get on that newsletter on my site. Make sure you are up to date with what is happening, because there is so much happening, and I appreciate you being here. Please let me know if you need any help at all. That is why I'm here. I'm here to help, and I will see you later. I hope you have a great February. Bye.